We're continuing our study on the subject of miracles. And we're going to look at some more biblical examples. We're going to be looking at the example of the raising of Lazarus in John chapter 11 and a couple of verses in John chapter 12. And you remember, as we closed out last week, we talked about some of the characteristics of New Testament miracles. Number one, we saw the idea that they were immediate. It didn't take months and months. And it was also complete. It wasn't a partial healing, it was a complete healing. It was verifiable. We didn't have to wonder, did something really happen, or was it just, did they just get better over time? It was also subject to sense perception. When Jesus multiplied the fishes and loaves, people could taste the fish, they could touch them, they could see them. Also, it was for the purpose of confirming the messenger, the message and the messenger, and it was amazing. And let me also say this, all the miracles were dignified in their character, and they never smacked of the bizarre or the weird. In John chapter 11, Jesus resurrects Lazarus. He had been dead for 4 days when Jesus said, "Roll away the stone." And I want you to notice something. Begin with me at verse number 43. Now when he had said these things, he cried with a loud voice, "Lazarus, come forth." Verse 44. And he who had died came out, bound hand and foot with grave clothes, and his face was wrapped with a cloth. And Jesus said to them, "Loose him and let him go." Immediately he comes out alive. That's the characteristic of a New Testament miracle. It's not a slow process that takes place over a week or months or years. Now, it may be amazing that a person is cured of cancer over the period of months and years, and God may have even been involved, but that does not meet the criteria of a New Testament miracle. Remember, we're talking about Bible things in Bible ways. Then I also want you to notice that it was verifiable. Verse 45, they saw him, they believed. Also, furthermore, the enemies of Jesus believed. They recognized that a sign had been done. They didn't believe in Jesus, but they recognized that a sign had been done. And then I want you to notice it was subject to sense perception. In chapter 12, verse 9, now a great many of the Jews knew that he was there, Jesus, and they came not for Jesus' sake only, but that they might also see Lazarus, who had been raised from the dead. You see, New Testament miracles were very unique. Let's not cheapen that word. Join us again tomorrow.